Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the power of the physical free-to-play second form Frieza. Now, I've never done a review on this guy, and I thought why not do a review on him since I have him at level 10 links. I had a weird obsession with this guy at one point, trying to push it to see how well he could do as a unit, and at the time he was very impressive. And I think he still could be very impressive, and I just really want to take a look at him overall as a unit and kind of assess how good he can still be. He's a transformation boost lead of Ki +3, HP attack and defense of 77%. Greatly raises attack on his super attack whilst being an AoE attack that causes mass damage to all enemies. He has attack and defense of 60%, Ki +6 and an additional attack and defense of 40% when facing 2 or more enemies, and an additional attack of 60% when the target enemy is in defense down. In terms of hidden potential system, I still think you want to go additional and crit, predominantly crit, and for 2 reasons. Firstly, of course, a big draw card for this guy is his AoE, and crit AoEs are always helpful. Additionals, getting a second AoE is always great, and you're not going to take this guy into events where he can realistically die too much, since his defense is very low by today's standards. So evasion in that to bring him into red zone, just very pointless. He's going to be great for things like World Tournament, SBR, ESBR, things like that, where he's still really solid, maybe even some New King events, where you need to take out multiple enemies. He does have an active skill which can be activated when facing 3 or more enemies, starting from the 3rd turn. And what this does is cause supreme damage to an enemy and greatly lowers attack and defense of them, which will proc his passive. A really cool thing with this guy is you only need defense down on one of the units to activate his full passive, as long as you target them. So you can still hit everyone with your full attack stat, whilst only actually having one of them being attacked down. He also has defense down from Fear and Faith, from Link level 2, so as long as you activate Fear and Faith, you automatically activate his passive, as long as the units can have their defense lowered. Brutal Beatdown, Strongest Cannon Space, Universal Most Malevolent, Prodigies, Fear and Faith, Big Bad Bosses and Sharing the Limit are his link sets. Transformation Boost, Pandemic Saga, Wicked Bloodlines, Terrifying Conquerors and Human Deeds, Space Traveling Warriors, Gifted Warriors, Planetary Destructions for enemies and Accelerate Battle are his categories. All in all, he's quite impressive, a very good unit, and I think he was a lot of fun as an AoE option and can still be useful for a lot of players as an AoE option, especially when you're first starting out and looking for World Tournament options or SBR and ESBR options. You know, there is some appeal to him still to this day as a unit. Of course, yeah, all things considered, I think you have to factor in that he has aged. Attack stat wise, he can still put up decent AoE numbers, 3 millions and 4 millions depending on the amount of support, and if you have his full passive. But for me, it's his defense where he really kind of fell down a lot. He has no realistic way of raising that star turn defense. If he had, defense of 60% when target is in defense down, that would have made his defense substantially a lot better because of the multiplier, but at the time I understand why they never did it. It would have made him a bit too crazy for back then. All in all though, still a fun unit. Defense wise, 140k kind of being the max, and I think that's okay for the time that he was around. All in all, like I said, his usability now is predominantly in being a AoE unit, and you kind of have to accept that for him. I think you can't really judge him on too much else. I think realistically that's where he shines, that's where you get the output from him, and I think judging him on anything else is a bit unfair and unnecessary, just considering like what he brings to the table. But that's it. In terms of links, obviously he's a Frieza unit. The one really cool thing is he does have Big Bad Bosses, so that helps out a lot, especially considering as a free-to-play unit. So Big Bad Bosses, Fear and Faith, Prodigies, Universe Most Malevolent, Strongest Clan Space, and Brutal Beatdown, all fairly accessible links for him. Brutal Beatdown, Strongest Clan Space, Universe's Most Malevolent, Prodigies, these are very easy to get with first form Friezas, second form, third form Friezas, although there's no other second form Frieza except for like an SR. But Big Bad Bosses is the big one, really enabling him to link up really well with a ton of other units and just realistically be super duper viable. I think ultimately that is something that's really great about him. So yeah, besides that, realistically, a very, very good unit. exceptional unit, and for me, does a great job. So I was very impressed by him. I think if you do want to still get him, there's still an incentive to get him, especially as a new player. He can work in World Tournament, SBR, ESBR. He's on a couple categories, quite a few, so you can use him there, and you'll get some usability out of him. You know, don't shy away. Do you need to get him to link level 10? Definitely not. But overall, still really cool, and I suggest you get him. That's it from me. Bye.